On August 6, the ship known as the Demeter runs aground on the shores of England. Amidst the wreckage, law enforcement discovers a ship captain's log. 4 weeks prior to this incident, the Demeter docks in Varna, Bulgaria, to load cargo destined for London. The shipment comprises several large wooden crates, brought in by local Romanians. The locals refrain from assisting with the cargo loading and bid the crew good luck. Clemens, a medical doctor, overhears the ship's need for crew members. He endeavors to persuade the crew of his value due to his medical expertise and education in astronomy at Cambridge. Although initially rejected by first mate Wojciech, Clemens saves the captain's grandson, Toby, from an accident involving the cargo. This action impresses Captain Elliot, leading to an invitation for Clemens to join the crew. While in the Aegean Sea, Clemens and crewmate Olgaran glimpse an enigmatic figure on deck amidst the fog. Subsequently, one of the crates falls, revealing a woman buried in dirt within. Recognizing her precarious condition, Clemens administers blood transfusions to combat an apparent infection. In the ensuing night, all the animals aboard the ship are slain, prompting the crew to dispose of them overboard due to fears of a rabies outbreak. Anna, the mysterious stowaway, awakens and warns Clemens about a local creature named Dracula in her village, to whom she was bound. Over the following nights, crew members on watch are systematically killed, with Olgaran surviving but displaying erratic behavior and needing restraint. One night, Olgaran breaks free, pursues Toby, and traps him with Dracula in the captain's quarters. As the crew rushes to rescue Toby, he gets bitten by Dracula. Come morning, Toby and Olgaran, both turned into vampires, meet their demise as they combust when exposed to sunlight. The remaining crew decides to drown Dracula and scuttle the ship with him on board to prevent his havoc in London. Captain Elliot and Wojciech lose their lives, but Anna manages to crush Dracula using part of the mast. Anna and Clemens jump overboard, assuming Dracula's defeat. Yet, Dracula breaks free and heads to London, just as the Demeter washes ashore. Anna confesses that she is transforming into a vampire due to the infection, and Clemens' blood transfusions have temporarily delayed her metamorphosis. To avoid becoming a monster like Dracula, Anna willingly meets her end in the sunlight as they reach the shore. Upon reaching London, Clemens spots Dracula camouflaged as a human and pledges to track him down. The final voyage presents some of the most impressive production values you'll encounter in a horror film this year. The soundtrack is enchanting and more eerie than ever. André Overittel's mastery of gradual, immersive horror takes center stage here, utilizing exquisite sets, strong performances, shockingly gory sequences, and exceptional practical creature effects. André Overittel, renowned for directing numerous horror classics like Autopsy of Jane Doe, has surpassed initial expectations with Last Voyage. While it does exhibit a few peculiar quirks, such as a somewhat disjointed prologue, setup, and conclusion, it undoubtedly outshines the other Dracula movie released this year. The cast delivers commendable performances, with Aisling Franciosi, Corey Hawkins, Javier Batet, Liam Cunningham, and David Dastmalchian all excelling. This film brings to life Chapter 7, derived from my all-time favorite horror novel, Dracula by Bram Stoker. The movie is exquisitely shot, exuding high production values from start to finish. In the early moments, we catch a glimpse of gypsy men transporting wooden crates along narrow paths overlooking Transylvania's town, with Castle Dracula faintly visible in the distant background. For the most part, the narrative remains faithful to the novel. The additional elements woven into the story could seamlessly fit within the book's pages. The adaptation is skillfully executed, and it certainly manages to evoke fear. However, I was slightly disappointed that Dracula's appearance diverged from the novel's description. Here, he resembles an enlarged human bat hybrid, akin to figures like Nosferatu or Barlow from Salem's Lot, and even more so to the vampire creature from Netflix's Midnight Mass. The film adeptly captures the eerie aspects of the novel, with pervasive fogs and mists creating perfect tension that envelops both the crew members and the audience. Dracula takes on the form of a colossal bat capable of flight and can transform into mist, enabling him to infiltrate the ship through small openings and crevices. Regrettably, his human and wolf forms are absent from the movie. In the novel, a witness reports seeing a wolf escaping the ship after it crashes into Whitby Harbor, a detail omitted from the film. Another deviation is that Dracula in this adaptation doesn't recoil from the sight of a holy cross. Overall, the film is deftly directed, boasts solid acting, and adheres mostly faithfully to the novel. Critics who have given this movie a low score should be taken with a grain of salt. The film deserves a higher rating on Rotten Tomatoes. As a reflective note, if Hollywood can create a 2-hour movie from a single chapter of the book, one can only imagine what they could achieve with all 27 chapters of the novel. Streaming platforms with substantial budgets could potentially craft several seasons of a Dracula series based on these 27 chapters. The Last Voyage of the Demeter is an unfairly criticized gem within the horror genre of this decade. I plan to watch it again to support Andre Verdal, one of the emerging great horror directors of our time. The film remarkably adapts a single chapter from Bram Stoker's Dracula, transforming it into a survival horror experience aboard a ship. While the plot has its flaws, it effectively invokes sympathy for certain characters and their motivations. Dracula's appearance is both terrifying and captivating, thanks to skillful execution. The film's horror-infused atmosphere and unsettling creativity distinguish it from recent vampire movies. The skillful dark shots and strategic use of gore elevate the audience's engagement, particularly in the scenes involving the ship's crew and the vampire. The climactic scene in the final 30 minutes is particularly breathtaking, showcasing masterful cinematography and direction. This film undoubtedly doesn't deserve the criticism often heaped upon it by critics and similar films of its kind.